The day started with a quietness so profound that nature itself seemed to pause. Montana's northern wilderness wore September's early light like a golden veil. These were the hours when silence reigned supreme, before dawn reminds the earth to stir once more. Near the base of the Swan Range, a weathered path curved toward an aging cabin, its glass clouded by the overnight cold creeping through every crack. Evan Wright held his infant daughter closer, adjusting the fabric wrapped around her tiny form. Lucy had just turned 3 months old, so delicate she could vanish within his cupped palms. After complications that had the doctor calling her survival extraordinary, Evan saw her as his anchor, his purpose for remaining. Pine resin and yesterday's coffee scented the morning air. Past the wooden deck, nature inhaled damp foliage, the river's whisper, a lone raven announcing daybreak with its call. His partner Marissa hovered near the kitchen stove, lost in thought, her attention locked on the forest boundary. The devastating June flooding had driven them here, seeking tranquility after losing much of their community. But serenity, they discovered, wasn't something you could demand. It had to find you willing. Stepping outside with Lucy nestled against him, Evan suddenly stopped cold. Something moved at the meadow's border. Sunlight illuminated brown hide, powerful frame lowering, nostrils searching the breeze. A she-bear, time compressed. The grizzly held perfectly still, neither threatening nor advancing. Her focus wasn't on the man, but on what he carried, with an awareness that seemed strangely knowing. Rising tall on her rear legs, she tested the air once more before melting back into the spruce trees. He remained motionless long after she'd gone. Bear sightings weren't rare in these parts, yet something felt different. The way her attention had fixed not on him, but specifically on his child, B.Y. Noon, the woodland resumed its natural symphony. Birds calling, creatures scurrying. Marissa's mood lifted, the earlier stress dissolving. But Evan's eyes kept drifting toward the tree line. Later, during Lucy's nap, he discovered fresh prints near their entrance. Massive, recent, dangerously near. Measuring against his own footwear, he realized the animal had approached within mere feet. Between the tracks lay another detail, compressed vegetation in circular patterns, as though she'd settled there, observing. Dawn arrived with an unusual sound pulling him from dreams. Rhythmic breathing, low and almost melodic. Parting the curtains slightly, he glimpsed movement by the ancient maple. The bear had returned through the gray pre-dawn, investigating the infant carrier abandoned on the deck. Her posture kept him from reacting. This wasn't predatory behavior. She was looking for something. Her chest moved with quiet desperation. Her expression open, confused, searching. When the breeze carried Lucy's faint sounds through their window, the creature's head lifted sharply, and she released a moan. Not aggressive, not dangerous, the sound of something mourning. Marissa woke to his expression and joined him. Together they witnessed the animal retreat slowly, hesitant, vanishing as if pulled away from something precious. The forest felt transformed afterward. Even birdsong came delayed. The river below seemed to murmur more softly. That evening, Evan visited town, discreetly asking the ranger station about missing cubs. The officer dismissed his concern. It happens, he explained. Mother bears losing young to natural disasters sometimes become disoriented. They'll fixate on human sense, particularly where infants are present. The logic seemed too convenient. Though Evan wanted to accept it, returning home beneath the risen moon, he found something unexpected on their deck. Something small, moisture-darkened, almost fragile. A chewed baby toy covered in forest dirt. Not theirs. He lifted it carefully, dried mud crumbling under his touch. From the darkness beyond came one deep, measured breath, and everything went silent. Morning brought frost transforming into vapor. It rolled across the grassland like phantom smoke, softening every edge. Evan circled their property with unexplained urgency. Last night's discovery remained where he'd placed it, now cleaned, but he couldn't unsee the tooth impressions along its edge. Lucy's tiny sounds drifted through the doorway. Inside, Marissa sang softly, her voice cracked but comforting, a mother soothing her own fears. Everything appeared settled again, almost too settled, following instinct into the woods, cautious yet compelled, as if the land wanted to reveal its secrets. The tracks appeared clearly this time. Recent, consistent, intentional. Not random wandering, but the journey of something seeking what was lost that he found the remnants of shelter. Flattened moss, snapped twigs, first snag on rough bark. Inside lay scattered fragments no bigger than kindling. Cubs that would never grow. He knelt there, his hand hovering over the emptiness. The forest's testimony was straightforward and heartbreaking. She'd been robbed of her own, returning to find Lucy outside, sunbeams filtering through needles onto her covering. Marissa glanced up from the porch, beaming. She adores being outdoors, she observed. She keeps turning toward the wilderness as if anticipating something. Evan attempted to mirror her smile, but the hollow den consumed his thoughts. He kept that discovery to himself. Some knowledge weighs too much to share in daylight's gentle hours. As evening descended, the forest pressed closer. Birds ceased their songs prematurely. Evan illuminated the lanterns earlier than usual. He sensed her before his eyes confirmed it. The weight of presence just beyond perception. The bear emerged between the trunks, unhurried, intentional, moonlight catching silver streaks in her coat. She halted at the yard's perimeter, motionless at first. Then, as Lucy whimpered gently in Marissa's embrace, the bear angled her head. That same gentle moan. Marissa gasped his name. Evan raised his palm. Not to frighten, not to defend, but to signal patience. The bear lowered herself earthward, her enormous body folding with unexpected gentleness. She remained there, gaze locked on the infant, breathing quietly. Lucy's crying stopped. Her hand extended, barely leaf-sized, toward the shadows where the bear rested. Evan's breath caught. The bear stayed perfectly still, her breathing slowing, syncing with the baby's rhythm. Two lives separated by nature, united by grief, breathing together. It lasted under a minute, but when she rose and departed, Evan felt something impossible settle where she'd been. Perhaps understanding, perhaps sorrow, finding its reflection. That night, the wilderness stayed awake. Distant wolves sang across ravines. The stream carried echoes of the unseen. Evan sat by the glass, the toy still beside him on the surface. He realized his mistake in calling her the bear. Something about her demanded identity. A soul, not merely a creature. He whispered aloud. Mara by the third evening, Mara returned. This time she didn't linger at the boundary. She approached the deck, close enough for the planks to groan under her weight. Evan remained frozen. Lantern glow barely reached her eyes. Dark, glistening, filled with something beyond hunger. She deposited something on the wood. A stick strip bare, polished smooth as river rock. An offering, Devon felt tremors course through him. He moved forward slowly until only breath separated them. The bear huffed softly, dipping her head before turning back into darkness. The third revelation came with sunrise. Marissa woke to find the branch positioned beside Lucy's bed. Mud streaked their floor, paw prints faint but certain. And through the open window, carried by cool morning air, came a low, rhythmic sound. That same breathing pattern, distant now, as if calling from the forest's heart. Lucy stirred, smiling in slumber. And for the first time since the floods destroyed their town, the house didn't feel haunted by what they'd lost. It felt protected, but wilderness love is never straightforward. Something was approaching, something that would test how far that delicate thread between worlds could stretch before breaking. The forest sensed it first. The silence grew heavier. The air thickened, and somewhere past the ridge, a gunshot rang out once, echoing like a prayer's end.